welcome. We can start with
Yeah,
intros.
sure. So I know most of you guys. I'm Coach Nicole Dennis. I'm logging in from our facility out in Oklahoma City. We just got done with a super full day up here with our competitors camp, which is mostly a mental skills camp for our high school pitchers. So we had some awesome conversations and worked some live batter situations and worked through some of the barriers with that. And it was great. And I got the pleasure of meeting Coach AB and kind of learning about some of the things she's put together. And we kind of hooked up for this joint growth mindset workshop, and I'm super pumped about it. I used to play at OU back when I was a player way back, played some international softball and professional softball, and then I got my counseling license. And ever since then, I've been providing lessons, providing counseling, and I finally started to kind of put them together. So it's been a really, really awesome journey, and I'm super excited for today.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Well, I know a few people on this call as well, and Coach Nick being one of them, and a couple of warrior parents, or one at least. I'm Coach AB, and I too played at the college level, not internationally, but I started doing pitching lessons and discovered mental skills training and started researching it and diving headfirst into that research and what it could give pitchers specifically, which is, we all know pitchers are a special breed and the pressure that they face. So how do we help more athletes, which is kind of cool. I'm in my office and those are all the athletes that are either currently in our programs or graduated from our programs. So
that's awesome.
I am super pumped. We kind of have what's in store for you guys for the next 30 minutes. But before we even get into that, which I already know, I'm looking at my notes, and Nicole and I are going to have cool conversations and you guys are going to ask questions, but you guys probably want to know, okay, what are we going to talk about today? I'm going to give you guys a quick overlook. And if I look over here, it's because I'm looking at my other screen, but we have 5 different topics we want to talk to you guys today about. First off is, what is growth mindset? And we have to understand what it is and help educate our players on what it is before we can kind of take the next step. So what is growth mindset? Number 2 is creating awareness. Number 3, praising the process. Number 4, how we talk about failure, the F word. And then 5, we're giving you guys tools. So those of you that know me, or if you experience a coach, we want to make mental skills applicable just as if Coach Nick or I said, hey, we want you to do 5 reps of this pitch, 5 reps of this. We really want to make mental skills training applicable and tools for you guys to use. So that's kind of what's in store for today. If we don't get to it, I'm going to share my screen. I have a PDF that I created. And instead of doing a presentation, this is literally the PDF that you guys will get. So I am going to present this. Okay, so here's what's in store for today. We're going to look through this. If you guys are familiar with Dr. Dweck, a lot of the times as a mental skills coach, we're teaching different techniques. Everything is part of research that has been done before. So I take a cognitive behavioral technique towards how we think about how our thoughts affect our emotions, affect our actions. So how is your daughter showing up in school? This is bigger than softball. We'll talk about testing. We'll talk about practices and ultimately games. So when I think about growth mindset, I want you guys to think about abilities and how your daughter views her abilities. So Dr. Dweck says, people that believe that most basic abilities can be developed. Now, the key word is developed. A lot of the times our daughters are looking to their teammates, looking to the pros or other college athletes and going, oh my gosh, she's so good. And they think that she was just born with it, right? So when we talk about developing, this is how we want you to talk about this with your daughter, and the ability to grow. So if we can think about their test taking abilities, their ability to pitch, their ability to hit, we look at those things as, well, yeah, if I take lessons, I expect to grow in my skill set. The same thing can be said for their mental game. So if we look at it that way, really quickly, fixed mindset, we think about our skills, our talents, and our overall intelligence. That's another thing that Dr. Dweck talks about, is either she's smart or she's not. You can actually become smarter. That's why we go to school. And so if we think about growth mindset, they know that they can develop their skills and talents, and being responsive. This is the key part. As parents, they have to respond to our feedback as coaches and your feedback, sometimes criticism, as parents. if we're being honest, right? So what we want to do is we want to shift. This is a constant continuum. We want to shift. There's going to be times where they're going to be fixed, and there's going to be times where they're going to have a growth mindset. So if we look at this, here are some really great tools to start looking, okay, is my daughter in a fixed mindset? Is my daughter in a growth mindset? Is that big enough for you guys to read? I know that's kind of a semi-small graphic. But the cool thing is too, is that before I talk about awareness with your daughter, we're going to talk about awareness with us as parents and coaches. A little bit uncomfortable, but I promise you guys, you're going to start to see some themes. So if you look at this, there are different areas where, and I use this as an example, how many of you guys have said something like, I suck at math? Don't ask me to help you with your math homework. Go ask your dad or go ask your mom, right? We say those things, right? Or I sucked at piano. My mom made me take 3 years of piano lessons, and I absolutely sucked at piano, but I rocked at softball. So there's different areas where if we're saying these things, the goal is to create awareness in order to create change. So as uncomfortable as it may sound, what are some of the things, if you think about it, what are some of the things that you've said in front of your daughter about abilities? Maybe it's, I don't know if you guys want to share, or Nicole, if you want to chime in, what are some of the things that you've said about your fixed mindset?
Sure. I'll start with once we started talking, AB, or Coach AB, I got this book and I started looking through it, and it's stuff that I always incorporate with our lessons in mental skills. And I've changed my language. I'm very, very cognizant of the language I use, especially when I'm around our girls in a mental skills setting. I've worn a hat of like a scouting type hat, and in like college scouts, and I've talked with girls about recruiting and college, all of that, right? And so what's weird about this is that the college scouts, they're out there, they don't know your kids, they're just kind of looking at stuff, right? So they're looking at like size, athleticism, all those things, and it's like the first thing I thought of was like, this is totally a fixed mindset. Like there's no room for these kids to grow. They definitely try to look at potential as well, but as far as in the moment, they're like looking at it in this way, and I'm like, man, how are these kids going to get past that and realize that they can overcome these things and work through some of these things? So that was one of the things I thought of, and I thought of immediately when I talk about recruiting and scouting and being real and how to balance that as far as where you're at, where your potential is. And that's so hard for kids, I think, to grasp and understand. So probably definitely got really deep there, but
one of those, it's changeable. It's not just that one moment that defines who you are.
Absolutely.
And there are moments that we can say, oh my gosh, you and I talked about this, I think on our Instagram live and in person, of when I read Dr. Dweck's book, and it's ear tagged and marked and all sorts of underlined. There are athletes I wish I could do a do-over with, because they were the trouble athletes. I had one athlete that threw her helmet in frustration, the things that are like big, big, big no-nos. And I was so frustrated that I could not get through to this athlete. And I realized that this athlete was not trying to be malicious. She was not my problem athlete. It's not that she didn't want to get better. She wanted to get better. She just had a fixed mindset. She thought as a high school player, she didn't get varsity. She was a swing player. She was always going to play JV. She was always going to be a runner. And I realized when she was blaming, she got defensive when I tried to correct things. She was playing the blame game. She wouldn't work hard. She thought that whatever skills she had, she was never going to get better because she didn't get that varsity jersey. And if I could go back and recoach her, she was simply in a fixed mindset. And I made it worse as a coach because I perpetuated that language to her.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's what I think about too, just in those weird different hats and changing different perspectives. And I know my freshman year in college, I assumed and thought I should be killing it all the time. I did not have the approach of learning as a freshman, like get in there and learn from the others. I was like, I want to be the best right away. And if I got one hit off of me, it was over. Like all or nothing thinking, failure versus, somebody if you win, nobody if you don't, kind of thing. So just I always kind of go back to that. That's how I coach my kids a lot. I think like, man, if somebody told me that when I was a freshman, it would have really helped out. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of growth going on.
Absolutely. So in my notes, I want you guys to write this down. I should have put this in the presentation, but I want you to write down the power of yet, Y-E-T, yet. You can simply alter that. Even if you make a mistake and you say something in a fixed mindset, you can add the word yet and it will flip that connotation. So for example, if we take the word, according to Dr. Dweck, if we take the word yet, it can change this. It's a linguistic trick to include, if you say something like, I can't, I don't, I'm never, those like really big hyperbolized statements, you say, like, I can't do this math problem yet. I'm never going to hit a home run. Well, I just haven't hit a home run yet. I don't understand how to throw a curveball yet. See how that really takes those statements. And you could do this with your daughter as well. If she's really blurting out these statements, you could simply look at her and wink and say, yet. And then it takes the like, we don't want to shame. We don't want to shame them for having these thoughts. We don't want to scold them or discipline them. It's, hey, you just haven't done this yet. And the more that you can break down those walls and those barriers and having these really curious conversations, get curious, and the power of yet. So that's one of my favorite things that I started using from Dr. Dweck. Love it. So then the second part of awareness is when you guys think about this, we have to be aware as parents. We also have to be aware of our athletes. So what she's saying, and Angela can vouch for this, what she is saying to you is completely different than what she's saying to herself. And her worldview, her fixed worldview, is of her 10 other teammates, right? Or her 11, 12, maybe if she's in high school, it's her 18 other teammates. That's her worldview. But if she hops on a Zoom call with girls from all over the country on our mental skills calls, it's like this light bulb goes off and she goes, oh my gosh, other girls have negative thoughts. Other girls are struggling. And what seems like common sense to us, like, well, duh. What I want to ask you guys as parents is, have you let your daughter into your mind about your fears, your worries, your failures? We don't want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable. We sweep it under the rug. So the more that you can tell your daughter, and I will say this on every single call, if a girl books a one-on-one session with me as a mental skills coach, the first thing I'm telling her is, this is normal. Your brain is supposed to have negative thoughts and quote unquote negative emotions. It's the human spectrum. So the more that you can say, girl, I'm mom, I get it. I'm here to discipline you and be your figure, your parent figure or your coach, and I'm going to hold you accountable. But I want you to know something too. I have fears and I've messed up. I've messed up at work. I've done the wrong things. And the more that you can open up that awareness, you could forget everything else that we teach today. And if you just get vulnerable, you can't get it wrong. Thoughts on that, Nicole?
Oh my gosh. So right. I mean, vulnerability is the most powerful thing you can do. And so I feel like I'm always really careful to kind of use self-disclosure very much. But when I do, I can tell I have all the eyes, like they are in with me 100%, because they want to know like, oh, you're a human too. It's sometimes when we coach a lot, girls look at us like, oh, they never messed up. Oh, they've never been through what I've been through. I'm like, yeah, I have. And let me tell you about it. Here it is. So yeah, parents, I really encourage you to be vulnerable, of course, age appropriately and all of that. But your kids will definitely listen and understand and see it in action when you're able to kind of like highlight failures and things that don't go right for you and helping them understand how you handled it. It's not the end of the world. We're going to learn from it and keep on moving. They will listen and watch and learn. So definitely.
Yeah. And the more that you guys can have these conversations too of, maybe if there is a difficult conversation that you need to have of where maybe there's a situation where a coach didn't give her playing time, or she's not getting the curveball down, or there's a situation that you honestly don't know how to navigate it. Sometimes having that piece of vulnerability and saying, look, and this is growth mindset talking, look, I don't have the answers too, but I know that we can figure this out together. And what that does is that takes the pressure off of you I'm a young mom, so I don't have to do this yet. I have a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old, so I don't have to reason with them very much, but I have a feeling I'm going to be getting there. When you just get vulnerable and you say, I don't have this figured out. I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to figure it out with you. It doesn't let them off the hook. It doesn't let you off the hook. It helps you guys take a growth mindset approach together. I feel like this would be a really good opportunity because I don't want to talk at you guys, and I want this to be a conversation. What's coming up for you guys? Is there a specific situation that we could talk about, or a question that, like, what questions is this coming? What's bubbling to the surface for you guys? Anyone?
I'll go.
Yeah.
My daughter is a perfectionist, and if it's not perfect the first time, she gets really upset and cries and then can't focus on anything else. We go through this often, and sometimes we can't even make it through a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So getting present to that perfectionism too, of what is the root. And so we look at the fruits, right? So like the fruit of that in the mental game is she's not getting it, right? And so they think in terms of absolutes, like I'm never going to get it, or I didn't get it perfect. That's a very absolute thing. So the more that you can show them, not that, and we'll give examples here too, but the perfectionism is, how do I praise the attitude, the effort, the non-perfectionism of what am I praising? And it's tricky because we want to post the home runs on Facebook. We want to post the pretty picture of the 50-mile-per-hour radar gun. And so we're basically conditioning our kids to expect our love and our praise and our affection, even though we may not be thinking or saying that all the time. They really latch onto those things. So the more that you can praise, what's your daughter's name, Heather?
Mackenzie.
Yo, Mackenzie, you busted your butt at that lesson with Coach Nick. You didn't give up. I could see you got frustrated. Man, you messed up the very first pitch, but you didn't let it get to you. If you can just find those little microcosms and say, oh my gosh, girl, like, I'm so freaking proud of you. You dug in and you got it. Totally controllable. And then it's going to do two things. It'll take the pressure off of herself, because if mom is like, okay, I'm okay with it, it'll start to chip away at her perfectionism. It's going to take time. Absolutely.
Yeah, it will take time. One little trick that I like to do, and Mackenzie, I can see her right now doing that. It's hard. She's hard on herself. She really wants to do well because she cares so much about her performance and doing well, which is like a good thing. It's a good characteristic to have, as long as we're in control of how we manage mistakes and respond to mistakes. So I'll almost prescribe failure. So I will like prep her up, and this might be something you can try the next time she's in a lesson, and say, the next time you have a lesson, I want you to literally fail on purpose. Like, let's just do it. Who cares? Let's throw it over her head once, and let's practice responding. And instead of changing the action of throwing the pitch and like throwing a strike, the action that we're practicing is responding to the mistake. Like, that is our action and our job that we're trying to get down. And I don't even try to use the word perfect. It's so hard because I'm a recovering perfectionist. That's what I say. I'm like, I'm in recovery. I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I try not to even use that word, like, oh, that was perfect. Oh, I don't want to say perfect. Like, I'll correct myself when I accidentally say that. But prescribing failure, they'll look at you like you're crazy, but say like, let's do it. And it's not even a big deal, girl. And let's see how you respond. That's really what matters. That's what matters more than anything. If that helps, I mean, give that a try and see that. And then of course, what Coach Abby was saying too, that's an awesome idea.
Rindy, it looks like you had something to add too. What you got, girl?
I was just going to say Claire is very much like that as well. But her biggest thing is she is so scared to fail. She does not like to let people down at all. And so it's very hard as a parent to be like, it's going to happen. It's part. We always tell her, fail forward. And that is something I learned at work a long time ago. And I just tell her it's part of the process. It's part of growing. But sometimes as a parent, it's so frustrating for me too, because I'm like, you are going to fail. And she just gets so down on herself so fast. And her confidence goes from here to here as soon as she hits that first failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the things, and it's so funny because we have Claire in our competitors camp right now. So I just got to see her. So I'll give you a little, it's not a secret at all, Rindy, but one of the things I try to do with Claire and all of our girls is when I notice that like incongruence. Like she seems to see herself as like worse than the other girls. I can see her comparing herself in the moment. I'll like open it up to the group because we've created such a good environment here too. So that's important. Also, like you really can't do this with just anybody around. They have to be the right people. But I'll say, and I'm just using Claire as an example, but I'll say like, hey, does anybody else think Claire is like behind or like shouldn't be here? When the girls say, no, I didn't even think twice about that, that can be so impactful. And I know you guys as parents are not necessarily in that spot very often, but if you are, like maybe if you have a family friend over or something and that seems to come up and be like, hey, you know, do you ever see that in Claire? Because I know she seems to think that sometimes. But of course, knowing that it's a safe person that is going to be respectful and all of those things that can be helpful, that can be so powerful sometimes. So I try to create those little nuggets of situations in our camp. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I know that's really frustrating and tough. Yeah.
Another example that you could use, and this is good for everybody too. This is, and again, I get so fired up about this and I'm so excited. And I love that this is an intimate group too. And this isn't even on our notes, but one of the things that you could talk about is how do you get them outside of their softball mind? Rindy, ask her about her fear. Is she afraid of snakes? Is she afraid of spiders? Is she afraid of tornadoes? Right? We're all in the Midwest. Well, not all of us, but the tornado alley of, okay, can I get present to that fear? What is that fear? And what am I afraid will actually happen? And when we get present to it, I'm terrified of spiders. I'm not actually afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of what the spider will do to me. Will the spider bite me? Will it be poisonous? Blah, 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 blah. And then you can segue the conversation to, what are you really afraid of if the ball goes between your legs, or if you strike out, or you walk about her? What are you really afraid of? Is the earth going to swallow you whole? You know, like get really present. And then they'll tell you, no, mom, the earth will not swallow me whole. My teammates are going to hate me. Really? Your teammates will hate you? Let's talk about that. How so? How do you know that? How do you know that to be true? And then what? And then what? And then what? And then they're saying it out loud. They're processing it. It will take away that fear of, oh my gosh, I'm letting these fears carry away in my mind. You don't have to tell them that. The magic is in the silence, and get curious. And for all of you parents, the more you can get curious, I'm going to give you guys tools. I have an awesome conversation guide too, to give you guys conversation topics. But the whole point of this is to get curious, not trying to like nitpick or find, just get curious. So again, if you can get curious with her and say like, hey, I know I've talked about failing forward, but what does that mean to you? Right? And oh, I know you're afraid of failure. Or Mackenzie, like you want to be perfect, but what does that mean? Like why do you want that so bad? And just see what conversations come up with them. Magical. Again, you guys don't have to read Dr. Dweck's book. You could log off this workshop right now and you can't get it wrong if you just get curious. And that will take some pressure off as well. Speaking of pressure, it's already 3:27, so I'm going to keep going.
Oh my gosh.
I knew this was going to happen. But again, this is recorded, so please don't feel guilty if you guys have to hop off, but I will be here. When we talk about praising the process, how many of you guys have heard, and you can just do show of hands, the term trust the process? Trust the process, trust the process. Mm-hmm. We're going to break that down for your athletes so that they understand. So when we praise talent and we praise sheer effort, that's where we get into trouble. I'm going to flip the screen so you guys can see this, just because it's a good, you can kind of like see, okay, what am I looking for when we talk about efforts and failures? When we say things like, great job, you're so smart, what you're really telling them is that's a fixed, like you're just born smart, instead of, oh my gosh, you studied really hard for that science test, and look what happened. And when we talk about sheer effort, I think sometimes we say, you tried so hard and look what happened. One of my very first mental skills sessions I had was with a girl who was going D1. She got a position on Maryland's softball team. Her parents bought her every pitching lesson. She was on one of the best teams. They traveled across multiple states. She had access to every single resource. And her very first session with me, she said, my parents are wealthy. I understand that. I had all of these resources. They took me to everything. I had the best bats, everything, and I still failed. Why? And her parents were big on, You work hard, the dad's a lawyer, the mom's in journalism, you work hard and everything will work out. Well, what happens when they freaking bust their butts and failure still happens? What that's creating in their mind is that perfectionism of, well, I did everything that mom and dad asked me to do. I went to every single lesson and I still failed. What you can switch that is, hey, focus on your next steps. Sometimes there's luck. Sometimes there's politics. Sometimes there's coaches outside of your control. All I ask is that you keep trying versus you tried your hardest, if that makes sense. Basically, when their hard work doesn't pay off, then that's proof that they're incompetent. And we don't want them to feel incompetent. We want them to feel powerful. So the more that you can empower them with the next step, what's within your control. And I could even skip to one of the techniques that I'm going to give you guys later is when you give them something to see, okay, if I'm failing at the pitching machine, let's try soft toss. If I'm failing at soft toss, let's try the tee. And sometimes mixing up their environment, different kids are different learning abilities. We just have to give them that next step instead of stop doing the same things, mix up their environment to show them what they are capable of, if that makes sense. I think so often we get into the same ruts of, going to the same pitching coaches, same hitting coaches, same practices, mix up their environment and see the magic unfold for them. Maybe take a break from lessons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking at our outline and I know we're behind. Okay, so basically one of the things that you guys could do is setting up a process goal. So when we say trust the process, oftentimes their goals are, I want to hit 60 miles an hour on the radar gun. Well, great. That's an outcome goal, not a process goal. So what is the process to get there? What do you need to do to hit 60 on the radar gun? I need to practice 3 times a week outside of lessons. Great. Print a calendar, put it on the fridge. That is the process. Did you practice 3 times a week? Yes or no? It's very binary. It's a 1 or it's a 0. Did I practice? That is a process goal that they can trust. Another thing that's a process goal is, did I show up with the 100% effort? So if you want to praise their effort and their attitude, did I have fun today? And did I give it my all? And that's a yes or a no question. And they're trusting that process, that even if they do those things and I fail or we lose the game, did I have fun? Yeah. Did I show up for my teammates and give 100% effort? Yes. Great. I'm proud of you, even with the loss on the scoreboard. I know that's hard. As a coach, we want the win column to be higher, and get it. I've been there. That's hard. We have to check in. What is that process? And when they come to you with goals, what goal are they telling you? Is it a process or is it an outcome? For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll just add one thing with what you're saying. The effort thing, I found girls will just automatically, yeah, effort. I gave effort. Like they'll just say it right away. And you guys as parents, like, try to reflect exactly what you see, like be a human mirror and say like, well, I saw you like walking to your position. Is that full effort and hustle? Like, and then ask them those questions and let them answer so that you're not lecturing or telling them, but because they know what they're supposed to say. But whether that's actually full effort or not is where you guys can be so helpful. And that reflecting can be awesome, because then they're like, oh, I wasn't. And even if they act like they know. So that can be a good tool to add to that too. Just reflect what you see when they go to that automatic, yes, I gave effort, because they know they're supposed to, but it's not every time. So you can help them understand that for sure.
I love that. The magic is in the pause
Mm-hmm.
and letting them say the answer. I love that.
Yes.
Okay, so number 4 I said for you guys was, how do we talk about failure? When we preach things to our kids as a coach, as a parent, oftentimes they will do what we do, not what we say we do. So for example, when I think about the conversations that I have with my husband at the dinner table, oftentimes, we're human, right? So you could think about, okay, how do I take the softball hat off? If I make a mistake or I, forget to switch the laundry out, or I am having a discussion with my husband and we're fighting and we come back and we say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I blew up, or that's a very raw and real example. But the more that you can demonstrate to your kids, I'm human, I make mistakes, I have big emotions, I've made mistakes, I'm allowed to feel frustrated. I think so often when we look at failure or perfectionism, kids feel like they have to stifle their emotions. And if we can model, hey, being sad, being angry, being frustrated is normal. You're allowed to feel frustrated. Again, I'm looking at it from the worldview of a 3-year-old. If I constantly say you're not allowed to be sad, there are a lot of things that make a 3-year-old sad. So the more that I can say, hey, it's okay to be sad, but you cannot watch Bluey all day. Or it's okay to be sad, but you're not allowed to hit me or spit on me. And that's just a 3-year-old boy's worldview. So how does that look for a teenager? Hey, look, you're allowed to be sad about this failure. You're allowed to be frustrated because you weren't perfect, but you're not allowed to give up. If that's a better example for teens.
That's awesome.
And that's a really healthy kind of conversation, because you can model that too. I have bad days. I get frustrated. I get mad at work, in traffic, whatever. It's what I do next that matters. So making those emotions in your household more noticed. Or even saying to your athlete after a practice or a tough game, they get in the car, you could say, oh my gosh, Mackenzie, like I could totally see on the mound, you were just frustrated. Is that true? Again, going back to that curiosity. And then whoop, you say nothing and just see what she says. And then it's going to bring up a really cool conversation of, we're not talking about strikeouts, ball strikes, anything. It's just like, dude, like I see you. You were frustrated and I love you. And I want to know, like, dude, what are you thinking out there? How can I help? And that will totally break down a lot of barriers.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead. I know that you guys will have access to this, so don't feel too terrible. And again, this is the first time I've taught this, and I'm really excited about this topic. You guys can see these two. We did talk about comparison to others today, and then not seeing immediate success. That could totally apply to perfectionism. Here's some resources, but even before I get to resources, here are some tools that I want you guys to write down. I did not get these into the PDF, so I do want you guys to write these down. I have 5 tools for you guys. The first tool is having intentional conversations. So the only thing you really need to write down for that is having conversations and getting curious. I know we did talk about that today. And that very first resource, Conversations to Create Confidence, that's a free guide that you guys have access to. It's a huge reflection guide that literally gives you like 50 different questions to ask your daughter. Let them think critically. You could even print it out and give it to them. They can journal on it and say, give them a page and say, I just want you to answer these 5 questions. You can burn it when you're done. I don't want to see your answers. I just want you to think about it. So that's that resource. The second tool that I want you guys to do is try new approaches. So what that looks like, again, I said this earlier, if she's struggling on the machine, try soft toss. If she's struggling with the outside pitch, try the inside pitch. Just mix it up. Understand that your athlete is different. They may learn differently. And this is very taboo, but if your pitching coach, your hitting coach is not working for you and you're not seeing progress, do not be afraid to switch it up. Find an online resource. There's plenty of online resources out there. I know Nick has her membership with videos. These girls have access to so much. Maybe they just need a different way to look at it, right? Like they just need to see a pitching video versus, constantly going to pitching lessons. So there's that. And then number 3 is feedback loops. This is my favorite one. So when we talk about feedback loops in the brain, we're seeing something in our world and it's getting reconstructed in our neural pathways of, okay, I'm getting immediate feedback. Oftentimes when you go to lessons, we're constantly talking at our athletes. If you have somebody like Nick or me, we demo because we played the game. Sometimes other coaches can't demo. So give them video. Show them video side by side of them. I know you guys all have iPhones. Write down this. Coach's Eye is an amazing app you guys can use. They're visual of take a video of them pitching a year ago, side by side with them pitching today, and show them the progress. That's feedback. See, I know you've gotten better and I have proof. That's immediate feedback. The other way you can do feedback is technology. So you could do radar guns, you could do blast motion, you could do hit tracks, and you can say, look, you improved. because you worked hard, you've gained 4 miles an hour, whatever that is. Use technology to your advantage. We only bring out the radar gun once every 6 weeks at lessons. Don't bring the radar gun to every lesson, but again, it's a feedback loop. And then the third feedback loop is progress numbers. So give them a goal. How many pitches out of 10 can you get strikes? How many curveballs out of 10 can you get? Maybe if they have a minute to get as many curveballs as they can. I love that one. It's called Minute to Win It. And then you could also do practice charts. So how many times did I practice this week? How was my lesson? Oh, I didn't practice at all this week and I had a crappy lesson. Feedback loop. You don't have to say anything as a parent, but you're giving them feedback. Okay, so that's that one. The fourth one is celebrate failure. So Nick brought this up and it was freaking awesome. Celebrate it. So find an environment where you can celebrate failure. So is it a practice? Is it a lesson? Do you go to the field that is, in the town next to you, and you just go to that grassy area and you say, we're going to fail today. Do you want to fail at this grubby, dirty practice field? Or do you want to fail at next week's game? Okay, you want to fail here? Let's have some fun with it. You could get in there as a parent and swing the bat. How do you respond to failure? Have fun with it. Do you laugh? Do you get gritty? Are you a competitive family? Play wiffle ball as a family. Show them with your actions, not always your words, how do we celebrate failure? Maybe you could do it with a board game. Again, taking that softball hat on. Neener, neener, neener. I beat you in chutes and ladders. You failed. So what? What happened? Nothing? Okay, let's go get ice cream.
That's great. That could get intense. That's a good one.
Yeah. And then the last one is highlight reels. So this is really cool. Give them something that they can say, I have been successful before. So they can visualize success on game day because they've done it before. Do you have a video of them hitting a home run? Do you have the video of them striking a really big batter out? This is proof of their hard work. Some moms will create graphics. Some moms will do like videos to music. It doesn't have to be that extenuous. But I know some of the college teams that I've talked to, they'll look at their highlight reels and their video reels before big games. Like they'll go into their locker room, they'll turn the lights down and they'll visualize their success because of the past success that they've had. If you want to include something in a highlight reel of a time where they did fail and look, how'd you bounce back? Hey, remember that time you lost in the bracket and we fought back eight games in elimination games and we got second at state? Whatever that is, put that in their highlight reel. And then this is the most important part of the highlight reel. When you look at their highlight reel, how did they act when they were successful? Their body language was good. They're cheering, they're smiling. Guess what? Those 3 things you can control even when you're not successful. So we're recreating success from those highlight reels. Okay, boom, there are your 5 tools. We've covered everything today. The next thing I need to get you guys, these resources are all for you guys. Big Life Journal has free PDFs. I don't know if I have it close by. I think I do. This is what's called the Big Life Journal. I'm trying so hard to get sponsored by them so I can get copies to give to my warrior girls. But this is a really cool, it's a legit journal that they can write in. And it has all sorts of growth mindset prompts. This company is literally built on growth mindset. I think this is like $20. They have one for teens and kids. And then if you want, you guys can purchase Dr. Dweck's book. If you're avid readers, this one literally made me cry. That is the 5th link. So those are all the resources for you guys. But again, everything that we taught you guys today is a culmination of the resources on this page. The last thing I need to get you guys, and I can post it in here. I'm going to stop share for a second. I want to get you guys in the chat this, the link to the quiz. How do I get out of there? The growth mindset quiz is what I talked about earlier today, where you guys will, I guess, Nick, I can ask you to pop it in there too. It is not loading for me.
Oh gosh.
Oh, there it is. Keep scrolling. So this quiz is literally just a simple Google form. You can fill it out, your daughter can fill it out, and then I'll reply back via email with whether your daughter's growth or fixed mindset. And then you can always take the quiz more than once. That's there. And I will email that as well. And then lastly, I will go back to see if I can get this share. screen. Do you guys have any questions? I guess, I mean, it's already 3:44, so I want to be mindful of you guys' time. Be back to this. Present. Okay. Oh, and of course. So this is the growth mindset. Dr. Dweck's TED Talk is really, really good. Let's see if I can go back to this. So then the last thing I wanted to invite you guys to is, okay, we've talked about this as parents. How do we do this for our daughters? And oftentimes we think about, okay, the mental side of the game, what is it? And really quickly, I wanted to give you guys an overview of how I teach it. I teach what are called the big six. So when we talk about routines, failure recovery, self-talk, visualization, breathing, and grounding techniques, I teach it step by step inside the Fearless Warrior program. Coach Nick and I have talked about this, and as a thank you for joining today's workshop, your workshop cost can be applied towards this program. So you guys can use the code BECOMPLETE, and it will take the $50 that you guys spent today and put it towards the program. That link will get you guys all the information on what this would look like. The girls that we've coached inside of this, I know Angela can speak to it. It's empowering them with that plan of they watch a video, and just like we did today, we're explaining how their mind works, what to look for, and then we're giving them a skill, a tool, just like the tools that I gave you guys to use. So we teach them how to do breathing techniques, how to do visualization, how to set up routines for success. And then we also have a parent portal. So inside that, this program, inside this online portal, this very workshop will be in there. It will be recorded. You guys will have access to it. And it's go time. Now, here's where it gets really cool. I don't know if Ash is joining us for our call today. We also have Zoom calls that are part of the program. We do a Zoom call every other Sunday, and we actually have one today at 7 p.m. Central. So if you guys are quick action takers, your daughter could literally hop on a Zoom call today. I don't know how we planned that, Nick, but it worked out. So
that's awesome.
What questions can I answer? I guess, Angela, if you want to share, how this has helped Ash.
Hey, Coach AB.
Hey.
Hey, I'll let her explain. How's that?
She gonna hop on a call later. It's funny because one of my assistant coaches is running the Zoom call later, so I won't get to see Ash.
Oh, she here. She is.
Can you talk, Ash, in like a really quick roundabout way? Who were you before? What did you struggle with before? And what is mental skills training given you now?
Oh, okay. So actually I have a really good example. So before this, like I was the type of person who, especially on like a new team, I did not want to talk at all. Like I wasn't very confident in myself. And so like I was always down on myself for my mistakes. Well, this weekend we had a tournament with this team. It's only the second or third tournament I played with them, but I've known some of the girls from before. But this weekend I got one of the MVPs for the weekend. And the reason the coach said that I got the MVP was because I was like the rock of the team this weekend. And I was what held the team together, and I was always talking to everybody and cheering them up. We also have
awesome.
Congrats. That's so cool.
We have a girl on our team who's never pitched before, and she's asked me at practices to help her pitch. And this weekend we played her in her second game ever, and she was really nervous. And like I set the bench that game, so it was really hard. Like so every now and then, like because normally when she pitches, I play like third base, so I'm like right there with her. So like when we called time, every time the coach called time for that game, I was out there talking to her at the mound while he was doing his thing because she was so nervous.
Yeah, I love that. And you have definitely faced lots of adversity. You've overcome a knee injury, you've overcome switching teams, politics, I mean, you name it. And you've been graduated for over a year, and to see your confidence, it has been amazing. Well, thanks for sharing, Ash.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So cool.
Very cool. Well, so here are all the things I need to get you guys. I need to get you guys the quiz. I need to get you guys this very PDF. We'll get you the replay. And then all of the information for the Fearless Warrior program is inside this link as well. And then if you use the code BECOMPLETE, you get $50 off. And then I don't have open enrollment. It's not a thing where you can enroll anytime. So we're closing enrollment on the 17th, and then we'll be opening enrollment again in October. And the reason that we do that is because we do hop on Zoom calls. So I want to make sure that your daughters are supported. And with this, like I'm just going to say the next time we run this workshop that it's going to be an hour, because I am so passionate about this, and I'm passionate about helping. And I feel like if you guys have more questions that are specific to your daughter and you want help, you can always email me, Amanda@FearlessFastPitch. We do 15-minute discovery calls. So if you want to hop on a call and ask specific questions to your daughter of something that she struggles with, I would love to give you guys resources. If it happens to be the Fearless Warrior program, great. If it's another resource, great. I just want to get your daughter the tools that she needs. And I'm happy to do that as well. So if you guys want to email me, I know we were pressed for time. I will be emailing out all of the goodies for you guys being here, but mostly I just want to say thank you for really believing in this. I think there's a lot of parents out there that don't think, they say the mental game matters, but you guys are the action takers, and you guys are here taking notes, asking questions, having the hard conversations. And again, if you do that, you literally cannot get it wrong. So thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for inviting me, Coach AB, and all you guys that know me. You know how passionate I am about mental skills and how powerful they are, which is like the whole reason I even am around softball. I love softball. I know softball, but I do this so that I can coach this stuff. So take advantage of Coach AB's resources and everything she's built, because it's really pretty amazing and outstanding. I'm excited to just hear more about what she's done. And so if it can help your daughter, I mean, like she said, just jump on it and take it. So thank you guys for coming again.
And I can even stay on. Let's do this. Thanks guys for being here, and I'll stop the recording.